So before we jump into that, I'm just curious, after going through all of that training on the English section, when you first started, how did you feel going into that section compared to now finishing 15 minutes early and hitting 35s? What's that
Uh,
look like? What's the
like
gap?
like when I first started like the English section, like at all.
Yeah, when you first started, like day one, you took it, like how hard did that section seem back then?
I just remember it being like I would overthink everything. I'd get confused. Like I just didn't know because I'd see like okay, I'd be like okay, well this could be right. Like it's not wrong. And now, if that makes sense, so I'd be like okay, this one could be right. This one could be right. This could be right, even though they're all redundancy. But technically, they're not wrong. So that's what
Mhm.
would get me wrong. But now I know immediately. It's just like I'm a lot more technical about it. I guess I'd say because I'm like, okay, immediately I know, even though yes, that could technically work in the sentence. It's like, okay, it's not going to work. Where before I'd kind of freak out and overthink it on each problem, and then I'd run out of time, and then I wouldn't even get some of them right. Where now it's just like more immediate, like I was saying. So,
Yeah.
but
And I
it's
think
pretty
it's
nice.
interesting, you've already knocked out a 35 on the English section and
Yeah.
now continuing to just take practice tests and keep up on it. I mean, how confident do you feel on that section now that you like know your basic foundational rules?
I pretty much know that you could wake me up at 3 in the morning and I could take it. I'd probably get like at least like a 32 or more.
Yeah.
Just so
Is
that's
it
pretty confident.
it is it focusing more on what the ACT wants rather than what you want? Would you say that's like a big kicker?
Um, I'd say yes, focusing mainly on like the patterns, like what you notice, what the ACT shows you, and what the traps are. And then once you figure out what the traps are, it kind of just is simple from there. You just know, okay, immediately that's a trap. I know because that's a trap. Usually based off of what the ACT says after that, and this answer is probably right.
Yeah.
And then you
I
just go
think
from there.
I think it's awesome when I get the chance to watch you and any other student start to see this particular section in a new light, where it's almost like you have the
Yeah.
special glasses on, where you can just see the question for what it is now. And like we were talking about earlier, oh, that's a grammar problem. That's a
Yep.
redundancy problem. That's a rhetorical skills. That's a transitional word problem. You
Hmm.
don't even have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, it's there. And I mean, how much time did you have at the end of this past test?
Like 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
10 to
Takes
15
the
minutes.
takes the pressure off a little bit, especially if you need to go back and look at some hard problems that you skipped.
Yeah.
Because now you're like, let me take a breath instead of
Yep.
panicking and trying to like get that stuff done and miss easy questions, right? At
Yeah.
the end of the test. So Merritt, I'm absolutely just stoked for you
Thank you.
on that section, on every other section. I know you've been just crushing it and putting in the work on the math and just grinding it out week
Thank you.
after week and gaining, you know, 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, and just saying, cool, I'm not done yet. Right.
Yep.
I love that determination. I love that persistence. And that's what it takes. Like, if you want to get an amazing score, like, it's not just something that you just say, oh, I'm smart enough. Like, you got to put the work in to figure
Yeah.
out, like you said, the traps and those little idiosyncrasies of the test to
Yep.
figure out, well, if I see that again, how am I going to react?
Hmm.
Right. So, if you had to tell, I guess, one person what that looks like in terms of English, what do you think the main thing they need to learn would be?
Um, I'd say not just for English, I'd say for the whole test is honestly, you just have to have dedication because it sucks. I'm gonna be honest, it's not fun. I don't want to wake up and have to take an ACT test, twice, 3 times a week. But then there's just no way after putting in all that work, it won't pay off. Like that's one thing I've learned. Just not even that's one thing actually the ACT's taught me in life is that, and just in general, like you, and anything you do, if you want to get good at it, that you can't just half ASS it. That's the only thing that came to my head. But you can't just have it. You just have to you have to go full force. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere with it. So
I love that, man, because it is true. I mean, I work with
yeah,
students in math and I work with them on ACT prep, but I've started to realize that it's far deeper than that. And if I can teach you how to set a vision, create a plan in your head, execute that, be held accountable, and just
mhm,
go. And if you get stuck, don't say I'm done or I quit. Like say, okay, how do I get over this? How do I like break up this roadblock? And that's going to help you far past high school and the ACT. It's going to take you through college. It's going to take you through your job. It's going to take you through your career. It's going to take you through relationships, like all that stuff. So awesome, man. Super proud of you. Again, I always like the opportunity to just acknowledge it and commend you for it, because I know I've been sitting here on the other side of the computer screen and I know how much work you put in, and I know that you have limited time and you get it done, right? And you're trying to grade that thing before our session. And that's just the time that you got, but you get it done. So congratulations, man. Keep working hard.